Welcome back, trainers. So the team leaders do have new shiny shadow Pokemon that you can collect, as well as a new team altogether. I'm going to be going up against them using 1500 CP Pokemon and putting myself to the test. I didn't really get too creative. If you enjoyed this kind of content, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, and I will continue to push the information out here. So taking a look at the shiny shadow Pokemon that you can get from the team leaders now. For Arlo, that is going to be Bagon. For Cliff, that is going to be Stantler, and for Sierra, that is going to be Absol. So I'm not too interested in the Absol, but nonetheless, I still want to battle Sierra. Unfortunately, I was not able to find her, and I went and did about 15 or so. Now, taking a look at Arlo here, you have Bagon, which is Dragon's going to be weak to Fairy, Ice, and Dragon. And Bagon itself does have the quick move Bite and Ember, so you don't have to worry about weakness to Dragon. But I wouldn't really recommend using Dragon, but if you're using maxed out Pokemon, it doesn't matter. Ice works, Fairy works. As you're going to see, I do go in with a full team of maxed out Pokemon at one point, just so you can have an idea. Followed up by the second Pokemon, Charizard, Blastoise, and Steelix. Steelix is going to be weak to fighting, weak to water. So you may want to possibly use water type because you also have Charizard weak to water. Then again, Charizard is 4 times weak to rock, so you could use your Rhyperiors. And then followed up by the third Pokemon, you have 2 dragons, which are flying and dragon type. So they're going to be 4 times weak to ice. And then you have Scizor 4 times weak to fire. So Mamoswine possibly. You also have, I wouldn't really recommend grass too much, even with the Blastoise. I didn't personally run into it. I'm going to get more into counters in the future. And then for the Stantler on Cliff's End, it's going to have Quick Attack and Zen Headbutt. That Zen Headbutt is no joke, as well as a Quick Attack. I personally use Probopass, but you can use Umbreon. That does seem like a solid option as well, if it does have Zen Headbutt. And then you have the Onix, which is going to be Grounded Rock, 4 times weak to water and grass types. And then as well as Marowak, weak to water and grass. So water and grass type could possibly help you out here. And then you have Electivire, which is going to be weak to ground. You could use Flygon, you can use Garchomp, you could use anything ground. And then followed up by Tyranitar, Torterra, and Swampert. So Swampert is going to be 4 times weak to grass. And then Tyranitar is also going to be weak to grass. So you could go in there with fighting, seeing that the Onix will be weak to fighting, as well as Tyranitar 4 times weak to fighting. But it's looking like grass is going to be pretty solid here because of the Swampert, as well as the Onix and the Marowak. Torterra, I didn't run into that one, but that is going to be 4 times weak to ice. So maybe you want to throw in, I wouldn't really recommend a Mamoswine because it's going to be part ground type. And if it had Razor Leaf, good night. Taking a look at Sierra here, you want to go in there with Fairy and or fighting types to take out that Absol. But then you're going to run into some trouble if you run into the Alakazam resisting the fighting. But the Lapras and then the Cacturn are both going to be weak to fighting. But what I recommend for Sierra are going to be bug types, because you do have the Absol weak to bug, the Cacturn 4 times weak to bug, and then you have Shiftry weak to bug. Shiftry is going to be 4 times weak. And then you have also the Houndoom weak to fighting, Shiftry weak to fighting, Cacturn weak to fighting, Lapras weak to fighting, as well as the Absol. So fighting seems solid here, but you can run into that Alakazam as well as Glade, which will be resisting it. So you may want to adjust your team according to what they do have. Alakazam is not going to be too difficult if you have maxed out Pokemon, as well as dark types. It will be taking them down quick, especially if you do have Bite and or a charge move that is going to be dark charging fairly quick. You should be able to handle that quite significantly fast. But personally for Sierra, I can't wait to find one and test out my Yanmegas to see how they do perform going up against it. I will be bringing you guys a more in-depth breakdown and counter list in the future here. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and jump into some Arlo and Cliff battles to see what we have going on here. My initial first battles and how I reacted and what Pokemon I did pick without looking up counters online. I just went in here. I just had the sheet that showed me what Pokemon they're using. So starting off with Arlo, he has the Bagon. We started with Lucario. We did switch into our double legacy Dugong here. And I'm going to tell you right now, this Dugong is amazing against people, as well as these new rocket leaders. Well, specifically Arlo here, because of the attack drop. Absolutely phenomenal. So the reason why I did pick Lucario and then switch into the Dugong, if you have not seen my last videos about the rocket leaders, is to freeze them up. So we do take out that Bagon here, and we're going to double up on the Steelix. Well, at least we just did one, so we can lower the attack. And we do have energy preserved on that Dugong in the back, so we can, lower the attack on that last Pokemon here. Bringing in Lucario. The Steelix attack has been dropped, so we're looking great. We're just going to power up punch here. Now, do you want Aura Sphere? I think yes, it's going to be great now. Shadow Ball is going to be fantastic, but I just don't want to waste TMs. Who knows what I'm going to get. So I just keep it Shadow Ball for now. But if you do have Aura Sphere, that's going to be awesome with that combination of Power Up Punch, of course, with counter. And then he's going to have Caesar in the back. Unfortunately, it was really disappointing. It seemed like this is what I was getting most of the time. But we are going to see a Dragonite with Dragon Breath. It was absolutely crazy, even after lowering its attack with the Dugong. So we do take it out. Fairly simple. I believe that was my first try on that one. So we're not getting a shiny there. Okay, moving on to the next one here. Another Arlo. We're going to have a couple more and then we'll do the cliffs. Let's see what we have going on here. So starting it off with Togekiss. This is where I do believe I use maxed out Pokemon. Yeah, so you can just see how well and how easy it is with these maxed out Pokemon. So Steelix, we have a bit of trouble. That's where you can run into some issues with your fairy. So we do switch into our Swampert here. And we are going to just bait the shields out with the Surf that we do have. If you don't have Surf, then just bait it with Hydro Cannon. It's not going to be as quick. So look out, because the Swampert is not the tankiest. But this one is completely maxed out here, so we're not running into any issues. That Steelix is going to be very weak to water. Not 4 times, because Steel's not weak to water, just the ground type. So we have successfully burnt the shields. Now we're going to go ahead and hit that Hydro Cannon here. In comes the next Pokemon. It's going to be Caesar yet again. I really wish it would not show up so frequently. So we're going to bring in our Togekiss that does have Flamethrower. Caesar being 4 times weak to fire is just going to burn and melt. And we take it out. So if you do have maxed out Pokemon, it's very easy compared to using 1500 CP Pokemon. So like I said, I will be bringing you more creative Pokemon using 1500 CP in the future. Just a pretty busy day here on Christmas Eve, trying to get everything done for tomorrow. Moving into the next one here, starting it off with the Rhyperior. And we're going to make an immediate switch into Dugong here, freezing that opponent up so we can charge up our energy a little bit more and get in a few more quick moves. And we're not going to hit those bubbles because it's simply going to shield it up. We did lower the attack. We're looking fantastic. We are going to shield this up because it will hurt because of that massive CP. And we're just going to finish it off with quick moves. This is what I found useful with the double legacy. So I can lower the attack on the next Pokemon. I systematically hit those because it's just, I don't know. And we do it again just to lower the attack even more. And I do believe we make the switch here. Pretty clutch switch into Rhyperior. And we have Smackdown, so we're going to be putting on work with it. We're going to go ahead and go for Stone Edge. I don't think this is necessary. I could have went with Surf, finished off with Smackdowns, but that's all right. And there we have the Dragonite. So we're going to come in with Dugong. First things first, and lower its attack. It's going to be 4 times weak to ice, so this is going to do a good amount of damage here. Getting off a few more quick moves, taking it below half. And now comes Wigglytuff, resisting Dragon. So thank goodness we lowered that attack. Otherwise, we would have been definitely defeated. So lucky for us, it got off its charge just in the nick of time for us to have it stall, and then we finish it off with Charm. So that Dragon Breath is no joke. That was insane. Even resisting Dragon Breath on top of lowering the attack, it was just ouch. But if you have some maxed out fairy type, it's going to be pretty easy, right? So not shiny yet again. Moving on to the next one here, we have another Arlo. So let's see what we have going on, starting with Rhyperior, Dugong, and then Charizard in the back. So yet again, we're going to do that switch in the beginning here so we can freeze the opponent. Really nice tactic. Not necessary all the time, all right? I found that going up against Cliff, it wasn't going to work out too well if it did have quick attack. It was better off for me to just start with Probopass in that incidence there. All right, so we are going to burn the other shield here. Not every single time am I going to hold the energy. All right, because Bite is doing a little bit more damage, I think, than Ember is. And in comes Steelix. We're lowering the attack at this point. Now, we could have switched. I thought I was going to be able to get off another Icy Wind to lower its attack even more, but we were not able to get there. At this point, I didn't really know what it had in the back. I was just kind of going with my default Great League team that I've been using to go up against it. Up against him. So Charizard is going to fit the bill, though. Since we lowered the attack, we're going to be looking okay. Blast Bird is going to be doing a ton of damage, and now we can farm it down. And this is good. So we're going to use our shield here. It's going to stop attacking. We can just finish it off with quick moves while we gain a ton of energy for whatever's in the back. And that's going to be, oh my goodness, what a surprise. Caesar. There, right. All right, just finish it off with fire. and as simple as that. Really wish it wasn't that common, honestly. I'm getting tired of seeing that in the back. You know, it's a cool Pokemon. I really like it. But come on. Really see Dragonite a lot more. Anyways, moving on to Cliff here. See what we have. I'm starting it off with Garchomp. And I'm going to be making an immediate switch into Probopass. Alright, so this is an exception because it does have, I do believe, Zen Headbutt. Let's see here. Yeah, that's definitely Zen Headbutt. So what's going to work really nice for this is going to be Umbreon or possibly Dark types that are resisting that Zen Headbutt and can spam charge moves to burn the shields, and they put off a decent amount of damage after you do burn those shields. I did like to pick Probopass because if it did have, say, Quick Attack, I will be resisting it with the Steel and Rock, so it will be able to survive for quite some time. But as you can see, it's still putting on the work here. We burn both the shields and we're able to take it out, and thanks to that switch in the beginning there. Alright, so down goes Stantler. Don't undermine that Stantler, it's pretty crazy. And in comes the Electivire, so we're just going to put on extra damage here, make the switch, freeze them up. In comes Garchomp, 4 times resisting Electric. We're looking great. Electivire can't have nothing but Electric moves, so we have nothing to worry about as far as the quick moves, charge moves as well. They're going to hurt, but we're going to shield those up nonetheless. Garchomp is fantastic. Now, if you do not have a Garchomp, I know that's like, I don't even have a Gibble, right? Then, you know, Flygon works good too with Earth Power. It's going to be great. Resisting that electric while you're super effective. And then the back is going to be Tyranitar. Now, Tyranitar is a pretty easy one to take out if you have a maxed out fighting type Pokemon. Machamp, Lucario, it's going down. 4 times weak to fighting. No big deal. As you can see, Lucario at 1500 CP has no problem taking it out. If you had a max out Machamp, it's going to be easy money. But still, another Pokemon to not undermine because those bites are still going to be doing a lot of damage if you're trying to do the 1500 challenge there. Alright, moving on to the next Cliff here. It's hanging out at the cemetery for some reason. It's funny how they gave Cliff the Stantler. Like, nobody's wanted it, and they're like, just give it to Cliff. Give Cliff the Stantler. And he's like, huh? Sure, I'll take it. Alright, anyway, so starting it off with the Probopass. Let's see, this one has Quick Attack. There we go. Then look at the damage. It's insane. So I do believe that this Probopass is actually going to faint down before I'm actually able to take it out. So I was getting quite a bit of energy. After they use their charge moves, don't use yours. I gain as much energy, and then once they start attacking, then you use your charge move. Because you want to take advantage of all those pauses to gain as much energy to get off as many charge moves as you possibly can. And that's what we're doing here in all these examples, as we've been over in previous videos, if you haven't learned by now. So it looks like we're going to be able to take it out thanks to that massive resistance to normal type with the Probopass being Steel and Rock. So the Marowak does take us out with Rock Smash, I do believe it has for the quick move. So we went in there, gained a little bit of energy for the Lucario. That wasn't a miss switch. We did that on purpose for whatever's in the back. In comes Swampert here, and we're just going to be able to wreck it with Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon all the way. Yes, it was nerfed, but it doesn't make it bad. It's still pretty good. It's funny how they nerfed Hydro Cannon, but they didn't nerf the other ones. Good. Keep Venusaur looking great. Alright, anyways, so in comes Tyranitar, and we're just putting in work onto this with our Swampert, switching into Lucario, freezing it up, getting a little bit more energy, getting that power-up punch, and the counters are just going to finish it off at this point. And we take the win with 2 Pokemon and a shield, 1500 CP. So I'm enjoying it, finally, some new Pokemon, and I just can't wait to go out there while I have a day to just kind of take it easy, take my time, maybe start really early, and pick crazy combinations to go up against these new Pokemon. And I actually powered up an Umbreon, like I said, purchased that secondary move, didn't even care about the cost, or make sure I invested in a correct one with a little bit more attack than normal. So if I have a mirror match, I'll be winning it with that Umbreon. Anyways, going into the next Cliff, yet again, Probopass. Yay! Alright, so Probopass is, MVP to start off against Arlo, looks like, or an Umbreon, or a Dark type. 1500 CP range. If you're maxed out, then there's a ton of Pokemon you can use to go up against it, right? So you got to look out though, because if you do use fighting types, even maxed out, that Zen Headbutt's going to hurt quite a bit. So you better look out. So we do get the shields off, and we are going to... I was contemplating switching here, but then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go Lucario, finish it off with counters, and I will still be able to switch, do a couple counters to the Onyx, and then switch into the Swampert here. If I did switch with that Probo Pass, I would have been locked at that point, and I wouldn't have been able to do that switch with Swampert. So there you go. Super weak to water, as you can see, that Onyx. And then in comes the Tyranitar with Bite, just ripping apart our Swampert here. But we are going to chip away with Hydro Cannon damage. So this is always going to be great. Always going to be great Pokemon. It was good for their last ones, and Swampert is still good. So we're going to go back in here with Lucario. Yet again, Lucario is just, you know, in that 1500 CP range. It just really can't be beat, to be honest with you. It just works so well, does so much damage. A bit squishy, but that steel typing is giving it nice resistances up against specific types. So, all right, we take another one out. I do believe we're coming upon the last one here. And I think this is the first one we ever did. All right, so we start with Swampert. It does have Zen Headbutt. I was like, oh my gosh, that does so much damage to Lucario. What am I going to have to do here? What Pokemon? So this is before I started using Probopass, as you can see. Very first one here. Then I figured it out. I was like, Probopass with that Zen Headbutt resisting it with the Steel type, and then the Quick Attack 4 times resistance. So we do take it out. And comes the Marowak, which is, it's not going to be so difficult. It's not a difficult Pokemon, really, at all. Just hit it with Hydro Cannon, hit it with Frenzy Plant, Grass, Water. It's game over. If you're using Kyogre, just waterfall it to death, basically. But it also has Surf now. So we do have Venusaur coming in, and it's also going to be super effective to Tyranitar, being that Rock type here. We're just going to Frenzy Plant it to death. All right, very simple here. I do believe the Venusaur is going to faint out here. Lucario is going to... Oh, no, Lucario is fainted. Swampert. Duh. All right, so we're just going to Hydro Cannon, the good old Hydro Cannon, and finish it off. Anyways, there you have it, trainers. Hope you enjoyed this video. Pretty excited for these new Pokemon on the Rocket Leaders, and I can't wait to bring you some more in the future with these challenges here. Good luck out there trying to find your new Shadow Shiny Pokemon, as well as the new Gen 5 Pokemon. Thank you for watching, trainers, and I'll be catching you all next time. Take care.